Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry for the delay. We hope you're having a great time at our Connect and Learn series and you've made some great connections. I am going to make this short and sweet. I am going to introduce Chris Coulter. He has spoken at our event before. He has a fantastic business. I'm sure you'll get into your website and all that kind of stuff, right, for our attendees today. But I just want to thank you for being here, Chris, and give you the intro that you deserve. So I'm going to do that quickly and then I'll pass it over to you. So adversity is something that entrepreneurs need to be prepared for in life and in business. We need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I really like that. Unfortunately, this constant uncertainty can wreak havoc on our emotional state, causing mental angst, impacting our productivity levels, our stress levels at work, and at home, and causes us to lose our passion for our business. Chris is a survivor. He learned through the bankruptcy of his first business, a painful and bitter divorce, and death of his 14-year-old daughter, Maddie, that life isn't always fair, but we teach ourselves resiliency in spite of tragic events that we go through. He has seen the impact that mental health can have upon success within your business and your life, and how the two are on a constant collision course. When Chris became aware that entrepreneurs struggled with their mental health at more than twice the rate of average adults, he realized he wasn't alone and made it his ambition to understand why we do something to help. That was really touching. I'm sorry, I'm like getting emotional, but I'm going to pass it over to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story as well, Chris. That was really touching. So I'm sure you have a lot of not only knowledge, but you've been there and you've done that. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about mental health, because it's one of the most important things to me anyway as well. So thanks so much for being here, Chris, and I will leave and pass it over to you.
Thanks, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Coulter, and I have depression. I guess that's the first time I've publicly said that. I've written it a number of times, but I've actually never come out and say it. So even if I am hiding behind my computer right now, I'm sure some of you probably saw the topic on the agenda and went, "Oh, mental health. No, I'm good. I don't need to attend this." But I think that's what the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is we live in denial. So I'm a bit of an anomaly as far as talking about depression and my own depression. I'm male. I'm an entrepreneur. I've acknowledged that I've got some mental health issues. I realize I can't figure it out on my own. And if you ask me how I'm feeling on any given day, I'm likely to say I'm fine, which is not unusual for many entrepreneurs. But it wasn't always like this. I guess 10 years ago, you would never have heard the words "I have depression" come out of my mouth, because I thought it showed weakness. I thought it showed my vulnerability. I didn't want to be transparent about what I was going through and dealing with. So I kept it inside, and I suffered in silence. So a little bit about me. I grew a business, myself and my business partner, we grew a business from $2 million to about $35 million for about 18 years. And we had 15 years that were great and 3 that were not so great. And I guess our eventual downfall was the financial crisis of 2008, where we managed to go through our about $5 million of retained earnings, trying to keep the business afloat. We were optimistic we could keep it going. But ultimately, we ended up deciding to close the business down in February 2010. And essentially, after 20 years or 18 years, I walked away with nothing. So after closing the business, I separated in January 2011, went through a nasty divorce for about 2 or 3 years. And in 2014, it sounded like everything was going so well with my life that I decided to open up my next business. And I wanted to focus on financial strategies for entrepreneurs, primarily looking at how do they creditor protect themselves, looking at tax efficiency, wealth creation, insurance strategies, key employee retention strategies. And a lot of this came because of all the mistakes that I made in my first business, which it was pretty neat. An unfortunate situation turned into an opportunity. In April 2015, we lost our 14-year-old daughter, Maddie, to suicide. And in 2020, I decided to combine my passion for coaching business owners financially with supporting them with mental health initiatives. So I will preface by saying that I am not a mental health professional, but someone who's got been through a lot and has done a lot of self-experimentation trying to make myself feel better. So how did I decide to jump into the world of mental health? Well, when we lost our daughter Maddie, my ex-wife and I said we can take two approaches to this. We can be very private and secretive and not share our story, or we can hopefully do is raise awareness. And she started up something called the Maddie Project, which is a wonderful organization that helps educate youth and their families on about mental health, and to date has raised over $2 million, where funds have gone to sponsor many youth mental health initiatives. I've done a lot of writing as it relates to supporting the Maddie Project, but more importantly, I think there weren't a lot of people who were talking about challenges that they were going through with their teenage kids at that point in time. So, having gone through the tragic loss that I've gone through, I thought I'm gonna put it out there. And amazingly, not only did sort of my blogs grow, they skyrocketed in popularity, but I also had a lot of people reaching out to me personally and asking me about challenges that they were encountering with their children, if I could help them or talk to them. And I always prefaced it by saying I'm not a counselor, but I have gone through. I'm pretty empathetic with the situation. So I have written extensively about my experiences with Maddie, and then when I realized that there was a very significant amount of entrepreneurs that suffer from mental health issues, as opposed to keeping my personal life and my business life completely separate, I thought it was a good time to be able to merge the two entities for the greater good. So as far as today, I'm going to discuss the statistics, the struggle, and the solution. So what brought this awareness of how many entrepreneurs are actually suffering with mental illness was a paper that was co-produced by the Canadian Mental Health Association and the Business Development Bank of Canada. And it spoke about how entrepreneurs suffer at more than twice the rate of average adults. And that was one of those aha moments where I went, wow, I thought I was dealing with this on my own, but there's a lot of similar people out there that are going through something remarkably similar to what I was experiencing. So I've put together a quick video that probably only pertains to about 50% of the audience today, but it's as I've discovered, it can be a very slippery slope as it relates to our mental health. Alex, is there a video? Is there volume? Should be volume.
Sorry, you can't hear it, the video?
I can't hear the video now.
Okay, one second.
The voices never stop, and the panic never really goes away. Is this your world as an entrepreneur? Unfortunately, it's the reality for many entrepreneurs. Almost 50% of entrepreneurs feel that mental health issues interfered with their ability to work. Only 1 in 5 felt a need to seek out professional help or services. Most of us are inclined to try to figure it out ourselves. So what's causing us so much mental angst? Not surprisingly, 2/3 of us are stressed about our company's cash flow. Almost 40% of us feel we're not adequately fulfilling our responsibilities at home and at work. About 1/3 of us feel the stress from the high expectations we place upon ourselves. More than half, 54%, of entrepreneurs' stress levels impact our ability to be productive. This is why figuring out brain fog is one of the biggest challenges and priorities in our day-to-day lives. Why do so few seek help for our mental well-being? 34% saw the cost of treatment as a barrier to getting help, whereas 36% of entrepreneurs saw the stigma associated with mental illness as the barrier to not seeking treatment. The fear is we are facing entrepreneurial burnout. So that ideal of going out on our own to attain greater flexibility and freedom isn't quite working out the way we envisioned. It's not all bad. Entrepreneurs are typically blessed with higher levels of resiliency and perseverance to partially mitigate the effects of the stress we feel. If we actually listened to statistics and didn't relish our role as the underdog, we likely would never have gone into business for ourselves in the first place. Entrepreneurs are built a little differently. We think uniquely, and people have learned to never bet against an entrepreneur. Never bet against an entrepreneur.
So that was a happy, uplifting video, wasn't it? When I first saw the report, I was shocked and felt, wow, I'm not the only business owner that's going through this. But then I detected no one really wanted to talk about it, and they should be. So I figured that this was maybe where this is where my path, my destined path was going to take me. So the reality of our world right now, our businesses are facing huge uncertainty. A number of us may not be in business this time next year. The statistics that were cited in that video are pre-pandemic. So the actual numbers are indeed growing. Our concerns over cash flow, which was overwhelmingly the largest concern and stressor for entrepreneurs, is only increasing. Our mental health is even more fragile than ever before. And the problem is that no one really wants to talk about it. So the struggle. So up to 30% of entrepreneurs suffer from depression. More than 60% have depressive symptoms, which doesn't mean that you have depression. But depressive symptoms, if untreated, can manifest itself into depression over time. So we clearly have a growing epidemic on our hands and a bigger problem that no one wants to talk about it. And often we try to resolve to figure it out on our own, which doesn't work particularly well. We are more prone to addiction and bipolarism. We need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And vulnerability, which has typically been seen as a weakness, needs to be seen as a sign of strength. So the video mentioned briefly about brain fog, and anyone who's gone through the trials and tribulations of trying to work through having brain fog, it really is quite debilitating. as I define it, it's when you sit down with the noblest of intentions to get work done, but regardless of how hard you try, you're unable to accomplish anywhere close to the amount of output that you expected for no apparent reason. Well, the problem is we tend to chalk it up to having bad days, and the challenge with that is the fact that we if it's untreated and we can't figure out what's causing this brain fog, or we just figure we're having an off day. When I personally went through having brain fog, it went from being someone who was very productive to someone that I would accomplish more in. I would accomplish about what I did in a typical day over the course of a week or longer. So it really does zap your productivity levels. So one of the things that frustrates a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's been said that over 50% of entrepreneurs have brain fog. It does kill our productivity, our creativity, our enthusiasm, our motivation, our level of happiness, our focus, and our concentration. And even though it's not the way we're wired, we become lethargic, discouraged, and feel defeated. It's not completely understood what causes brain fog. It's partly emotional, it's partly chemical, but it's also a significant amount of it as a result of our physical environment. Some of the things that contribute to the onset of brain fog are different types of foods and drinks that after you have it, it's amazing the impact it has on your ability to think clearly. Think after post-Thanksgiving dinner, how sluggish and tired you feel. Things like exercise or not exercising. And I'm not talking about going out and running a marathon. It can be, you can do some high intensity training exercises a couple of times a week for under an hour complete workout time. So I know we're all capped for the amount of time that we have to be able to work out. But you don't necessarily have to spend so much time in the gym. Exposure to different types of light. So infrared light versus blue light. These little subtleties that we wouldn't notice over the course of an average day are amazing. The effect it has. Sleep. It's often been said that sleep is a huge cause of brain fog. There's a number of other contributing factors which maybe on their own don't seem much, but when piled on top of one another, it really can be considerably very debilitating. So, solutions. We need a network for entrepreneurs that can help support our businesses and our mental health. A network that's confidential, supportive, empathetic, addresses business and emotional needs of entrepreneurs. That is affordable and it is safe. An environment of support, mentoring, coaching, and accountability, which is really important. And there are a number of peer-to-peer groups that exist for business owners, and I've belonged to them before, and they're great. But they address business issues and challenges within our business and how do we get there. There also can be very costly. I remember the one that I belonged to. It was over $10,000 a year, which, depending upon your financial position, a lot of startup situations don't have access to that kind of funds, or they would rather invest it back into their business rather than into a peer-to-peer group. So they don't necessarily help to mute those voices in your head. but I guess what I've decided is something that's absolutely critical, is having a peer-to-peer support group, and that's why I've started an initiative called the Entrepreneur Exchange, which focuses as much on mental health and day-to-day life as it does on business. And the keys are to make sure that it is affordable, that it's personal, that it's safe, and really the challenge I've found, we don't want to feel like we are handcuffed to our job, because it's a job that we can't quit. So it's a long time that we have to work within our job. So we want to make sure that we're happy throughout that whole process. And suffering from brain fog as well. I suffered from it for years unknowingly, and it nearly cost me my current business. And over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of extensive research, self-experimentation, trying to figure out what caused, what sensitivities I had, what impacted me, what didn't impact me. And it's amazing what you discover when you go through that whole experimentation process. I was able to figure out by doing a lot of testing on myself that certain things worked amazingly and other things didn't work well. Once again, it's also an individual thing. So anyone that is interested, if 50% of entrepreneurs do suffer from brain fog, then there's probably a lot of people that currently could use something to be able to remedy that problem. So if you'd like, you can send me an email at the email below, chris@thefinishlinegroup.com. And if you'd like, I'll send you a copy of my ebook on how you can overcome brain fog and increase your productivity and get it back to where it was, and to a point where you start loving your business again. So that's it for my presentation. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to address it. Otherwise, thank you for your time.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your story. It's, it's nice when you can relate to someone and someone's speaking, kind of with you. So that was, thanks for sharing your story. That was really, I'm sure a lot of people really appreciated it.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thanks for being here and preparing all the content. We really appreciate it. So yeah, we have about a minute left. If anybody has any questions, I don't know if there's any questions in the chat there. If anybody has any questions, we have about a minute left, but it sounds like you've had quite the journey, Chris. So
it's been interesting. It's certainly been one of a lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah, that's life, right? A lot of peaks, a lot of valleys. So
yeah, and you know what?
More than others.
As long as you can take every experience, learn from it, and apply it, perhaps at some other point down the road, that's where opportunities come from, right?
Definitely. Oh, perfect. So Alex put your email address there, and then your ebook, right? How to get rid of brain fog.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here, Chris. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Have a good.
Thanks everyone for being here today. We really appreciate it. We really hope that you had a great afternoon. We covered a lot of different ground and a lot of different topics on leadership, building resilience, mental health, which I think we all know is very important in the success of any business. If you're not, at peak performance, then your business won't be at peak performance. So we really appreciate our keynote speaker, John from Hero Burger. We hope that everyone had a great day. Just wanted to give you a couple reminders. December 2nd is our Toronto Entrepreneurs Conference. And December 17th, we have a Sell Your Business Conference if you're looking at buying or selling a business. So Alex will put the links to our upcoming events in the chat. Again, I am Rachel Mitchell, the Director of Business Development. It's been great being with all of you here today. We do recruiting services. So if you're looking to hire staff, we put on a lot of different events throughout the course of of the week or months now at this point. We've been doing a lot of virtual events. We've had to pivot, as I mentioned in our opening remarks, which has been exciting. It's been fun. It's a learning curve. It's kind of, exciting to try something new. And we hope you enjoyed the platform today. And we hope to see you at one of our upcoming events. We also have our Facebook group if you're not part of it. So it's Toronto Entrepreneurs. We post a lot of articles and content and things to that page. So if you want to join us on Facebook, again, check out our link to our upcoming events. And we really hope to see you again soon at our upcoming events. And we really want to thank our speakers for their time today and thank everyone for being here again. Thanks so much. Have a great day.